So let's talk about rabbinic law now. What's this topic number? Are we up to number 4, number 5, number
Yeah,
4?
I think 4.
Okay.
So, Kitniot on Pesach.
Okay, this has nothing to do with protection of the week, right?
No. This was just you mentioned rabbinic law, and this is it just came to my head. Obviously,
Okay.
you said how rabbinic law can change. Obviously, Ashkenazim can't have Kitniot, Sephardim can.
Mm-hmm.
And am I right in saying that's based on a rabbinic law?
Yes, technically it tends to be classed as, in a way, even less than rabbinic law. But it is binding. It's known as minhag. Now, the word minhag means custom.
Yeah.
But one should be careful with the word minhag or custom, because in Jewish law, it can mean different things.
Yeah.
We tend to use the word custom when it's something people just do, and it's not really essential. They're not really obliged to do it, but it's just what they do, and it may be good to do it. It may have good reason, but it's not really obligatory. On the other hand, the word custom is also used for when in post-Talmudic times. This only post-Talmudic? I'm not sure. It may even be in Talmudic times. I guess. So there's a little bit of something I'm not 100% clear on. Where something's classed as a minhag, must be that it wasn't formal rabbinic legislation, otherwise it wouldn't be classed as a minhag.
Yeah.
But if so, like I say, certainly post-Talmudic. I'm not sure about during Talmudic times themselves. But certainly post-Talmudic, where a minhag arose, and let's take Kitniot as an example. Certain legumes, beans, rice, like that, had some level, the way they lived there, some level of similarity with chametz.
Yeah.
And sometimes led to mistakes. I think there were 2 issues. I think it was they looked a bit like chametz when they were being baked or cooked.
Yeah, that's the one I learned.
Right. And the second thing was that sometimes actual wheat, barley, oats, rice, spelt, which are the 5 species of chametz, would tend to get mixed up in the barrels or sacks of these other things.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 reasons for it. And it became a serious enough concern that the Ashkenazi world took upon itself not to refrain from them. And it wasn't, had it been something that just the man on the street did, because the man on the street was nervous because he has the rice flour or the millet and it looks a bit like chametz, and had it just come from the what they say in Hebrew, the amcha, the street, it would not have become obligatory. It must have come from the top. Maybe originally, I don't know the exact history, maybe it was people flagged the problem, and the sages of the time said, you're right, there've been many instances of people chametz by mistake on Pesach because of it. So we're going to have to lay down, we're going to officially take this on. From now on, we're not going to have these things on Pesach. And once the community accepted that upon itself, it's like a vow, and it remained. Just that at the time, the Ashkenazi community and the Sephardi community were very, very separate. Somehow they lived differently, and the same problem did not arise. The different communities are bound to have slightly different approaches, different pitfalls, and so on. And therefore, it didn't happen in the Sephardi community.
Yeah, so that is actually what my question is. Obviously, I obviously learned it as it gets mixed up, and it looks the same. And obviously, given the modern level of stringency on
product
integrity, exactly, yeah. Given the modern levels and the strictness of it in modern times, given that that's not necessarily a ruling from the Torah, it's at most maybe a rabbinic ruling,
or surely, like I say, even less.
It's a mincha. So given that it's almost lack of seniority in terms of law and standing, surely that's again something that could change.
Yeah, you slightly called me out there. I suppose it stands to reason. Once again, if we were, like I said before, if we were self-governing and had the legislative structure to be able to deal with that, then maybe we would take a view on that. But it doesn't come into question today because of where we're at.
Yeah, because the matter that always perplexes me is that quinoa is a, relatively speaking, it's a new food almost. So it outdates the minhag of kitniyot.
It postdates.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, postdates the minhag of kitniyot.
So should the minhag of kitniyot apply to quinoa? I don't know what the conclusion about that is. I remember hearing a presentation about that once. I'm not sure of a clear conclusion. What did you hear about that?
I heard that it's not classified as kitniyot.
Yeah, it's probably right, because the minhag, we're stuck, we're straitjacketed by the minhag.
Yeah.
But if the minhag doesn't apply, it doesn't apply.
Yeah, because I've obviously had quinoa been around at the time, it's probably likely that it would have been classified along with all the other kitniyot.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I've always found
the healthiest approach is. Sorry.
I've always found when it comes to Pesach, the fact that quinoa doesn't come under kitniyot yet, had it have been around at the time, does. I've always found that, again,
intriguing.
Intriguing, almost amusing that it exists.
Yeah, it's a sort of idiosyncrasy, like an imperfection of the system.
Yeah.
I don't think, like I said, I'm not sure if everyone would say it this way, but I think it's valid to say that we are that sometimes technicalities don't allow us to change a system.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the fact that we do it, that doesn't mean the fact that we do it is meaningless. The fact that we do it shows our respect for the system. Maybe we can use it to remind ourselves of to wish for and to pray for the coming of the Mashiach, which we understand will bring us back to Israel, and we can get the Sanhedrin back and
on Pesach.
Yeah, and set up our proper government.
So are technicalities of rabbinic law, of any law or minhag in Judaism, when technicalities arise that almost allow you to sort of circumnavigate them, is that immoral? Is that improper to do?
To circumnavigate them?
Yeah, in a perfectly legal manner. But is it still considered improper?
I think that's a very good question. So, for example, I want to charge someone interest, but I write the Heter Iska. But yeah, the interest I charge him is brutal, and it's unkind. So yes, I think you would be transgressing the spirit of the law. In some cases, one might veer into grey areas, even in the letter of the law. That's what tends to happen because of all the technicalities. In the case of Heter Iska, maybe you're writing Heter Iska, but it's patently clear that you're not really serious about it, arguably, or in some cases. But if it's keeping in the spirit, so as we said before, the purpose of the loan is to help someone set up a business. It's for a healthy purpose. It's going to be it's manageable for the lender. It's manageable for the borrower. It makes sense in its wider context.
Yeah.
You've got a technicality which is in your way. You respect that technicality, but you work around that, and that's okay.
Yeah. So for example, eating quinoa, although it's not against the letter of what we should be doing, it doesn't necessarily, and it's not necessarily in spirit with why we do it. It's allowed to be done if the ruling exists. Yeah,
well, that's even easier because the spirit of the law is that we should be eating all kidneyot in the first place. So if it's true, like I said, I'm not. You're telling me you've heard that ruling. I don't. I'm not sure. I'm not sure of the correct ruling. It makes sense to me. Assuming it's correct, then I don't see it being against the spirit of the law in any way.
Yeah, that's always one I found very interesting. Obviously, every year when it happens, I think to myself, is quinoa allowed? And every year, wherever I happen to be for Pesach, I always ask the rabbi at the time.
And they always say it's okay.
Well, often they'll say it's okay, and often they'll say, and if they say, they'll never say it's not okay. Often it's either okay or there's no reason why it wouldn't be okay.
If they're not completely sure of themselves.
Yeah. Sometimes they're not completely sure, and often, sometimes the answer I get is, I see no reason why not.
Right.
But
you talk a little bit about the environment. No, there was still employment protection, which you had mentioned. If I want to try and get through the getting late, but
I'm always happy to talk about it. I find it, incredibly interesting.
Okay. So let's keep going a bit longer. So let's do